Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
No, this is not an optical illusion. And I haven't been, what do they say?
Shrunk in the wash.
Shrunk in the wash. No, but imposed on the video. Photoshopped in. I'm sitting in a very comfortable chair.
There's no strings.
I'm sitting in a very comfortable garden chair, and she's sitting in a plastic, more comfortable for her garden chair. But she made some jokes about some, what did you say?
Little and large.
Little and large, don't
Right, two Ronnies. Give us a thumbs up if you remember. Morecambe and Wise. Classic British comedies.
Don't know any of them. Comedy Gold. Don't know any of them. Okay, so we're out in the back garden, as you can hear by the planes going over and the M1 traffic in the distance. We are here to read Bhagavatam and remain inspired somehow by Krishna's grace and by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So, where are we reading?
Canto 4, Chapter 7, Text 29. Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 29. Lord Shiva said, "My dear Lord, my mind and consciousness are always fixed on your lotus feet, which, as the source of all benediction and the fulfillment of all desires, are worshipped by all liberated great souls, because your great sages, because your lotus feet are worthy of worship. With my mind fixed on your lotus feet, I am no longer disturbed by persons who blaspheme me, claiming that my activities are not purified. I do not mind their accusations, and I excuse them out of compassion, just as you exhibit compassion toward all living entities."
Interesting.
That's after he chopped off Daksha's head and put a goat's head on him, but I'm not bothered now really what people say.
Yeah, I must confess, it kind of sounds like someone who says, "I'm not bothered, I'm not worried, it doesn't bother me that someone does this, and this. I'm not bothered." But I'm sure Lord Shiva isn't in that space. So but it's just interesting how it's being stated, when it's being stated, where it's being
and to whom.
And to whom, so
the boss.
The boss, yeah.
So purport. Lord Shiva expresses herein his regret at having been angry and having disturbed the sacrificial activities of Daksha. King Daksha had insulted him in many ways, and thus he had become angry and had frustrated the entire sacrificial ceremony.
To say the least.
Later, when he was pleased, the yajna performances were reinstated.
Instituted.
And therefore he regretted his activities. Now he says that because his mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, he is no longer disturbed by the ordinary critics of his way of life. From this statement by Lord Shiva, it is understood that as long as one is on the material platform, one is affected by the three modes of material nature. As soon as one is in Krishna consciousness, however, one is no longer affected by such material activities. One should therefore always be fixed in Krishna consciousness, busy in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. It is guaranteed that such a devotee will never be affected by the actions and reactions of the three modes of material nature. This fact is also corroborated in Bhagavad Gita. Anyone who is fixed in the transcendental service of the Lord has surpassed all the material qualities and is situated in the status of Brahman realization, in which one is not afflicted by hankering for material objects. The recommendation of the Srimad Bhagavatam is that one should always be Krishna conscious and should never forget his transcendental relationship with the Lord. This program has to be followed strictly by everyone. From the statement of Lord Shiva, it is understood that he was always in Krishna consciousness, and thus he remained free from material affliction. The only remedy, therefore, is to continue Krishna consciousness rigidly in order to get out of the contamination of the material modes. It's interesting, like we were saying before, when you read and hear and study, things start to link up. And because yesterday we had talking to some devotees, and one of the devotees got a bit emotional, speaking about a situation they're dealing with, and their point was they want to say something, they can see the mood in which they're interpreting the situation, and what they want to say is an anarta, because we were talking about anartas and owning up to what we have regardless of what other people have, what we have. So we had a discussion, and we were just saying that, first of all, is it your place to say something? But secondly, I was saying, through what lens, or which lens will you speak? Will you speak? Hold on. Just saying that, will you be speaking through the lens, or like which anarta will you be speaking through? Which lens, if that makes sense? Because you're looking at it, which she admitted, which was very honest and humble. I feel like this, and I'm seeing it like this. But for you, when we approach situations, we have to check ourselves to make sure, like it's saying here, at least try to be somewhat dearer, sober, Krishna conscious, because otherwise we speak through and interact through the anarta with which we're afflicted. And she could get that, and it was very deep and emotional for her, because she was getting that and realizing it's not so much what the other person's doing and I don't appreciate it and this and that, but almost like having yourself being pulled up. It doesn't take away what the other person, we're not saying that, but almost where are you coming at it from? And if you can check yourself and appreciate, no, I feel like I'm in a decent, I just feel something needs to be said. We know, don't we, when we want to say something, if we're coming from it like I need to get one up or pull them up, or because I'm feeling angry, it's coming, my channel of speaking is going to be anger, basically. Even if I don't shout, it's going to be angry or envy or whatever. So it just reminded me of that conversation about the material modes and being affected by the energy, and we were just concluding that for ourselves we just need to strive to be focused and Krishna conscious as much as we can, because it will really raise our interactions, or not, because we don't always have to act.
Well, there's a saying, even if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. So
yes.
Even if we choose not to act, that's still a choice of action, even if it's to not act, it's still.
Yeah.
But I get your point.
All right.
Yeah, very good points. Prabhupada says in the purport, the recommendation of the Bhagavatam is that one should be Krishna conscious and never forget his transcendental relationship with the Lord. Okay, we got that. That makes sense. It's easier said than done, but I got it. And he says this program has to be followed strictly by everyone. So that's understandable. From the statement of Lord Shiva, it is understood that he was always in Krishna consciousness, and thus he remained free from material affliction. Now this was the one that was a little difficult to grasp, because of course he's apologizing for getting angry and messing up the yajna, but what's being said here by Srila Prabhupada is that he was always in Krishna consciousness. So even when he kind of got upset and cut off Daksha's head. Well, he didn't cut off his head, but he sent the being to do it.
Yeah, he sent.
So anyway, he manifested his anger.
Yeah, yeah.
Now the question for me remains, but Prabhupada kind of says it, that he was Krishna conscious. So it just goes to show that being Krishna conscious does not necessarily manifest always the way that we think it has to, or the way it's meant to look. Just like yesterday I think it was, we were discussing about how Arjuna wanted to leave the battlefield, but Krishna wanted him to stay and fight. Arjuna wanted to go to the forest and meditate and do his bhakti there in the forest, but Krishna wanted him to stay on the battlefield and fight. So by him fighting and killing a lot of people, which he did because he's a Maharati, he can fight with thousands or hundreds of thousands of military men. By him, he stayed and did that, and he did his bhakti, and that was still considered devotional service. So the question for me kind of is like, is that what was the situation for Lord Shiva? Does that make sense? Is that an interesting question? If you think that's an interesting question, put a thumbs up. If you've got an answer, you can also put it in the comment section below. Let's see what anyone else thinks.
Alright.
I think it's the same thing. Okay, should we read the next one?
Yes, please.
Text 30. Sri Brigu said, "My dear Lord, all living entities beginning from the highest, namely Lord Brahma, down to the ordinary ant, are under the influence of the insurmountable spell of illusory energy, and thus they are ignorant of their constitutional position. Everyone believes in the concept of the body, and all are thus submerged in the darkness of illusion. They are actually unable to understand how you live in every living entity as the Supersoul." Interesting. "Nor can they understand your absolute position. But you are the eternal friend and protector of all surrendered souls. Therefore, please be kind toward us and forgive all our offenses." Nice mood. Very nice mood. So this is coming from Brigu, who I think he cut off his mustache and beard, and he gave him the beard of the goat, right? Okay. Hey, Bhagawan. Okay, purport. Brigu Muni was conscious of the scandalous behavior exhibited by each and every one of them, including Brahma and Lord Shiva. Interesting. In the sacrificial ceremony of Daksha. By mentioning Brahma, the chief of all living entities within this material world, he wanted to state that everyone, including also Brahma and Lord Shiva, is under the concept of the body and under the spell of material energy. All but Vishnu. Yes. That is the version of Brigu. As long as one is under the concept of the body as self, it is very difficult to understand the Supersoul or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Conscious that he was not greater than Brahma, Brigu included himself in the list of offenders. Ignorant personalities or conditioned souls have no choice but to accept their precarious condition under the modes of material nature. Crazy. The only remedy is to surrender to Vishnu and always pray to be excused. There you go. One should depend only on the causeless mercy of the Lord for deliverance, and not even slightly on one's own strength. That's a tough one, isn't it? Okay. That is the perfect position of Krishna conscious. That is the perfect position of a Krishna conscious person. The Lord is everyone's friend, but He is especially friendly to the surrendered soul. The simple process, therefore, is that a conditioned soul should remain surrendered to the Lord, and the Lord will give him all protection, keep him out of the clutches, give him all protection to keep him out of the clutches of material contamination. Very nice last sentence. Interesting statement. Prabhupada brings up the fact that Bhrigu Muni is mentioning Lord Brahma because he's saying even Lord Brahma comes under the sway of your material energy. So what to speak of me? I mean, I'm not actually 100% convinced by the way that they're speaking. You know, these Lord Shiva. It's almost like, okay, like you said earlier, like the boss is here, so now we got to say the kind of right thing. But at the same time, they're both almost, it almost comes across as if they're having digs at the other, at someone else. Right. It's not like anyone's like, I really screwed up, my Lord, you know, please forgive me.
It's like when the parent comes home and, you know, the siblings blame each other because they realise things got a bit out of hand. Sorry. You know, a brother's arm's broken or a sister's hair's set on fire. Sorry.
So Prabhupada says in the purport, ignorant personalities or conditioned souls have no choice but to accept their precarious condition under material nature. The only remedy is to surrender to Vishnu and always pray to be excused. There you go. So you surrender to Vishnu and you just pray, please forgive me, please forgive me, please forgive me, please. But I don't think that means to like the holy name or to Vishnu within our mind, but it means to the Vaishnavas, it means to the devotees. We have to seek their forgiveness first. Krishna already forgave us. He forgave us before we did it. Okay.
All right.
What do you think? Should we conclude there?
Yeah.
Save for another day.
All right.
Lord Brahma's about to speak.
All right.
So let's see. All right. So we thank you all very much. Any announcements?
No. Not the Oscars.
You're correct. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Haribol.